I sat out the first event here at the Capitol building because I'm lazy and I was complacent. I watched it play out at my house because I'm lazy and I'm complacent. And I think it's important that I point out that I was complacent because I sat back on my couch and watched. I watched as an individual, not as a group, but as an individual, went into my Capitol building to say a prayer, and he was assaulted not one time, not two times, but at least 3 times by 2 different individuals. If you put your hands on me to grab me, to take things from me, you are assaulting me. And I watched this and I became very angry. Angry at the situation that I was watching and angry at myself because I was complacent and I was lazy and I was sitting on my butt watching it at home. So I did the most white woman thing I could do and I immediately wrote the governor. I did, and I requested a meeting because I didn't know what else to do at that point. I'm not affiliated with the Grotto. I'm not affiliated with the church. I'm not affiliated with any practicing religion at all whatsoever. I'm an independent practitioner. I consider myself a naturalist, is what I would call myself. And I want the right to continue to practice my things how I see fit, as long as I'm harming no one with my practice. No one should seek to end my ability to do so.
Oh!
So when I saw the permit was going to be granted this weekend for us to have an event, I was like, awesome, it's a holiday weekend. A holiday that's supposed to represent community. One that you're supposed to get together and gather your grains and show everyone what your hard work and your labor of your harvest has done. And show everyone, this is what I have. This is what I produced. This is what I made with my hands, and let me share it with you. By the way, my daughter and I made some ornaments. Please take some home with you because we made my whole house smell while we were doing it. Not bad, like lavender and sage, but still, it's gonna smell like that for several days. So I was really excited when I saw, hey, it's a chance for a redo. You know, it's a chance for us to have a get together where the energy that's brought to us is positive and community based and one of love and of one of understanding, and we can match that back instead of having to match back the hostility and the rage that the Satanic Grotto got when they tried to hold theirs.
Ow!
And then I saw it was approved. Great. Everything's amazing. It's on. But then it wasn't. And then it wasn't. This is the witching hour. This is for those of us who are like me. Maybe you practice within a coven. Maybe you practice in your own home. Maybe you're just a kitchen witch. It was for those of us to get together and gather, and they said, no, you cannot. You cannot, because this man met the level of aggression that was being shown to him with the same level of aggression. And what is that? And I got really sad. And I immediately got really angry, because that's kind of what I do. We'll blame it on menopause. And so I reached out to the Grotto and I said, hey, I'm going to ask for a meeting with the governor because this is wrong. I can't have this. This isn't acceptable. And luckily, before I had to have that meeting, we got our space. Now, it's not the rotunda that they gave to the Christians to have their National Day of Prayer after they denied the Satanic Grotto. It's not that.
Damn straight.
But hey, it's a beautiful day. It is not 500 degrees like I worried it would be. And we still got to gather and share our little stories and some music and show that we are a community. Whether we are the community that meets in their church on Sunday, or we are the community that just resides in this area, we are still a community. We still have the right to gather and be there for one another and show support and exchange ornaments or keychains or books or whatever it may be. We still have that right, but we won't if you continue to do like I did and sit on your couch and be complacent and lazy. Your magic isn't found within any book or any text or what anybody else tells you. When I reached out to the pagan communities and I said to you, if you could have just one thing that you want everyone to know, the resounding thing over and over and over again was to follow your own path, forge your own way, be your own person, do your own thing. Your magic is found within you.
Ow! Ow!
Your passion, your pain, all creates the power and the magic that manifests your life. We don't need a Bible. We don't need anybody to tell us. We don't need a leader. All of our magic is found within us, and we need to follow it and not be complacent.
Ow!
Now, to our Christian neighbors and friends and family and loved ones and community at large, you need to know that once they silence the atheists and the Muslims and the Satanists and the pagans, they're going to come for you. Christianity has never been about salvation of souls. It has always been about enslavement of people. We asked for books, and I couldn't help but to notice that there isn't a book that represents the Christian faith that I was before I decided that I didn't need a book to tell me to be a good person. I could figure that out all on my own. There's no Book of Mormon in there. Do you see any Seventh-day Adventist texts? How about Jehovah's Witnesses? Anything exclusively Catholic? Mm-hmm. Oh, just a Bible? Mm-hmm. Well, what should that tell our Christian friends and family, neighbors, and community? When they're done stepping on us, they're going to turn that no true Scotsman fallacy onto you, and you will be next. Because again, it is not about saving our souls. It's about enslaving the people. And your number one enemy in all of this is complacency. Do not be complacent. And while I have some attention, I have to go ahead and say something that's completely off topic because I can't be complacent. I need everyone to look into and speak out for justice for Oscar Ramirez and his murder, because his family and his loved ones and his child has not seen that. And while I have this moment, I have to say, please look into it. Please speak out for their family. The murderer is wandering free without a single charge, and that is wrong. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Oh!
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Miss B. Hail you.
Nate, we got one.
Next, we have activist and author of The Practical Guide to Building a Better World, Mike Trapp.
He's my friend.
Thank you, Mike.
Hey, thanks everyone for coming out and standing up for freedom. It's always great to be here at the Capitol. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. I grew up in rural Michigan in the shadow of the Fermi 2 nuclear power plant, and went to my first protest when I was in high school, and have never really quit. I've toggled back between working hard for systemic change, both through direct action, through politics, through policy. When I was elected to the City of Columbia City Council inexplicably. And I encapsulated the lessons that I learned in this book, The Practical Guide to Building a Better World. It's a memoir-driven how-to of how to do the things that I've done, which is, organize protests, be effective in social services, run good nonprofits, start your own business. I used to believe that there was a grand solution, that there was going to be a specific type of revolution. At a time, I thought that was in direct action politics. At other times, I thought it was something else. Now I no longer believe that there is any large, total solution, but there are a near infinite number of practical solutions that are within each of our power to do so. That the thesis of my book is that we could be living in a better world. We just need to start building it. It's more about empowerment. All of us pretty much know what we need to do. We have a better idea of what we're capable of. We need to understand our barriers and what's keeping us from doing it, and we need to find ways to be more effective because our backs are against the wall. Even if you talk to very, very old people, they will say that this is the worst time in American history. We have profound threats to the democratic process. I threw words around when I was a young activist in the 80s and 90s about friendly fascism and what I felt was imperialism, and all of those critiques were true. But what we're seeing now is naked authoritarianism, and our ability to resist is going to become more and more restricted. We have to say no more, no more. The regime is crumbling. I believe that their largest takings are over, that we're going to see some more breaking and stealing, but the supreme leader is more and more going to become an unpopular person who can't run for re-election than an all-powerful God of the MAGA universe. So we need to be strategic, we need to find allies, and we need to pick issues that have real consequence, that we need to organize with everyone who is not that. Because I have my own path. I'm a free thinker. There's a lot of Christianity in the book. There's Bible in the book because I think that there's some truth and there's some power there. But there's some agnosticism in the book. And I like Uncle Walt Whitman, don't believe that I need to have a cohesive view of of reality. I think multiple perspectives is the best way to understand a near infinite universe. But what I want all of us to understand is that things could be different if we did what Miss B said, that we laid down the complacency and we laid down the powerlessness and we seized our own power and we moved forward. This is it's not a great read aloud book, but I'm going to read at the end of each chapter. I kind of go over some lessons learned. It's kind of top 10 or so things. I'm going to talk about direct action. Y'all into direct action?
Ow!
So here's my 11 points about direct action. Number 1, just do it. The less you talk about it, the better. Just make things happen. If you wait until you have everything you need, you'll never do it.
Damn right.
Number 2, action is empowering. Taking bold steps feels great. Have you noticed that the folks who took the boldest steps have left those steps transformed?
Damn right.
Number 3, be strategic. Don't jump to tactics. Rather figure out who has the power to grant your demands and how can you get them to do it. Number 4, organize openly. Never conspire. I don't do anything that I wouldn't send a press release about. Number 5, use affinity groups to coordinate civil disobedience. Keep them small and trusted within an overall structured event. Number 6, frame your message in a way that has majority support. Stay on message. This is challenging, but to bring real change, that's what we need. So you have to think about, no offense to y'all, but you're a little niche. So you really have to think about coalitions and what you're part of. And this event is really excellent because you've broadened that coalition, and the messaging that I've heard right now is that we're the tip of the spear, we're the vanguard for freedom, but all of us are at risk, and that is a message that will resonate with a lot more people. Just by the people who have been personally harmed by the regime, we are now in the majority, those of us who are very critical and have serious concerns about the fate of democracy. So remember that there are allies beyond the scope of our spiritual paths. Make movement building a priority. Build community, grow leadership. You know, I'm not ideologically connected with the Grotto, but why I'm a friend of the Grotto is because I see this emphasis on direct action, empowerment, community building, listening. They're the best audience for poetry that I've found.
Woo!
So I'm preaching to the choir here. Recruit constantly. Invite to actions and events, not boring meetings. Ask your friends. Block recruit like-minded groups. Number 9, avoid single-issue organizing. Have an analysis. Your mission is to win hearts and minds. Number 10, have fun. Play games. Operate outside of your opposition's comfort zone. And you all own that one.
Yeah, I'm right, we do.
Number 11, be creative, escalate, celebrate your wins. And you're winning. And you want to pat yourself on the back for that. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Ow!
So in those 11 things that I talked about, one of the things I said is avoid single issue organizing. That's where I'm talking about, like the Sierra Club, where you just have that one focused thing that you're doing and there's no larger analysis about how things got so fuckered up that we need to do these extreme actions to try to stop things. We need this level of analysis. Because where we're at now is, how do we build a coalition that can butt heads with the regime and still stand tall when they have all of the resources and a lot of the guns and all of the nonsense? How do we stand up for that? Is we need to build a coalition of everybody who is not that. So the issue that I'm working on, because I'm a local government guy, I would like to talk about parking standards and minimums and what we could do about affordable housing, but instead I'm in an existential battle for the democracy of this nation. And what does that do for a local government guy? Is it says it finds our way to how can we find local government and local institutions of power, and we can use that to throw sands in the gear that we can stop the slide into totalitarianism. And I found that perfect issue in Leavenworth, Kansas, of all place, with Core Civic. For those who don't know, Core Civic is a private prison operator. They invented the most heinous industry in the history of America since slavery. It's slavery adjacent. And the folks who started Core Civic found their origins in those plantation prison work labor camps. And that's where we're headed with all of this ICE money going into massive amounts of detention. Why is ICE detention getting more money than the Federal Bureau of Prisons? Because they're going to build prison camps. Well, we already had one in Leavenworth. They operated it for the Marshal Service, for people who were detained awaiting federal charges, and they operated it pretty piss poor. A lot of people got hurt because their profit model rests on understaffing and overcrowding, and the less money they spend to serve the people that they serve, the more money they make, and that's how they exist, and that's how they pay their $6 million man, $6.75 million, Damon Hillinger, their CEO, and a nice return for the stockholders. But what we did, activists in Leavenworth, is we pressured the city to file a lawsuit when Core Civic thought Leavenworth was going to roll over because we're a prison town and they could open up without a special use permit. They were closed down in 2021, and when they didn't hold detainees for over a year, they lost their special use, which was grandfathered in. So they have to apply for a permit. They knew they were going to take a beating at the public hearing, and they withdrew and said they're going to open anyways. They did not expect Leavenworth to sue, and Leavenworth did.
Ow! Ow!
3 liberals, 2 conservatives, 0 leftists. But you take your allies where you can get them. And they did the right thing because they stood up for their ability to regulate land use, a very hyper-local issue that's important to every local government. And we have used that to stop them in their tracks. That's costing them $4.3 million a year of your tax dollars. That's cutting that out. And we've stopped them. So we filed in federal court, and the federal court, we got CoreCivic to argue that it was not a federal issue, and it went to state court, and they got creamed. And they're gonna get, so there's another hearing Wednesday in Leavenworth at 9:30. We're gonna have a rally in the center. That's at 8:30 a.m. in Leavenworth. If you're gonna stay for the hearing, we do ask that, you compose yourself in court. When CoreCivic attorney talked about their right to due process, I was not the only one who laughed out loud. The judge did not find that as amusing as we did. And when the court and CoreCivic's attorney knows how to play activists, and because they were interrupted by laughter, they got to repeat their argument, which lawyers love to do, and they did it slowly and carefully, and more people laughed and more people hissed, and then the judge got pissed. That's not strategic. We got to be cool in the courtroom. We got to save our spleen for the streets. So August 6th, come on down to Leavenworth. August 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. we're having a pop-up protest with the 5051 crowd. So we'll be waving signs and doing all that. But if you want to come and make an appearance, and then we'd be glad to have you. Now, when we're out in the streets, we'd love to have, because one of the arguments that the conservative city council members make is CoreCivic are going to bring these outside protesters into our town. So don't, unless you're sitting in court, don't worry about coming in your full regalia and being who you are, because that just helps us. So keep being you, keep being strategic, keep being smart, keep building community, keep finding allies, keep being broad-minded about who is our potential ally, because there are so many people who are personally harmed by the regime that our tent is bigger than we realize. So thanks for doing what you do. Be safe, have fun, and stop by my table, pick up a book, pick up a button, pick up I'll stop drinking as soon as I'm named Secretary of Defense koozie.
Ow! Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike Trapp. Get his book.